Hello, everybody. You're all very welcome to our European Week for Waste Reduction webinar. This one is all about pre-loved and learning to love reuse. And we're delighted to have representatives from community enterprises with the reuse scheme for paint, for Frances Quinn from Adapt Shop about learning to love pre-loved items and how important that is to keep things in circulation. And then finally, a lovely upcycling demonstration video from Corja Enterprises and learning about some of the works that they do there. So without further ado, I'm going to hand you over to Michael Quilligan in Tait Enterprises to talk about the reuse scheme.
My name is Michael Quilligan. I'm with Tait Community Enterprise, and we're a social enterprise in South Hill, City. For the past few months now, we've been delighted to be in a partnership with Limerick City and County Council and with the Rediscovery Centre based in Ballymun, Dublin. So I suppose in general terms, the kind of scale of the issue that we're dealing with here is that it's estimated that there's over 5,000 tons of paint wasted every year in Ireland. And so that's the problem we're tackling is to, but how can we reuse that? To kind of, Rediscovery Centre have been tackling it in Dublin for the past couple of years, and they've been doing it very well. They're collecting from recycling centres around Dublin, and they've managed to recycle 10 tons of paint, which in itself saves 22 tons of CO2 emissions. So as you can imagine, so far they're recycling 10 tons out of 5,000. So there's a fair way to go, and ourselves and other organisations in Cork and different parts of the country are trying to do our bit as well. The way the infrastructure around it works, as you can imagine, there's a lot of environmental regulation involved. So in our partnership, there's City and County Council and the Civic Cycling or Civic Recycling Centre out in Limerick, and that's the only place where people can leave the paint to be recycled, and then we collect it from them. We're not, for environmental regulation reasons, we're not in a position to take in paint from individual people or to go and collect it from anywhere except from the recycling centre in Limerick. So the science of paint recycling, there's not a lot to it, and my colleague Sean will show you in a moment how it's done. Again, for safety and environmental regulations, the only paint that we recycle is water-based paints. Solvent-based paints, as far as I know, are technically recyclable, but due to their flammable nature, you're into a whole set of other safety and environmental concerns to deal with them. So after we recycle it, we're still at quite a small scale. So we use it for community use. So in our own community facilities, we've used some so far. And then once we develop our supply and can rely on the amount and the stock coming through, we'll be approaching other community organizations to let them use it as well. So with that, I'll hand over to Sean, who's here with me, and he'll take you through the technical aspect of what's involved.
Hi guys, four things. I'm just going to show you two colours here that we mixed already. This is like, well, when we mix a bit of paint, we'll put it on the wall, see how it looks. We'll give it a batch number. As you can see here, we have a grey with a batch number and the date it was made. So when we make it, we'll make enough that we have, if we were painting a room and we needed 2 tubs of it, we'll make 3 just in case we need to tip up at any stage. So we have our colours here. These are some colours that we've mixed. I'm just going to show you, we have a kind of a greeny lime or mint green. This is another one that was mixed. We have a grey. The most easy paint to mix or to make a color is grey. A lot of our colors that we do is all different shades of grey. Now I'm just going to show you how we do it. Our main color that we need is white. So we would be adding color to white. So I'm going to just quickly mix up some grey. So we have our white. We have some black paint. Add it. I'll just give this a shake. This is our black. So I'm just going to do it on a small scale here, guys. I'm going to take a syringe full of black. I'm going to add it to our white very slightly. This is, the more black you put in, the darker it's going to be. So we try our hardest to keep it as light, not unless we want to mix it up very dark. As you see, like black. And if we want to lighten it up, we add more white. Or if we want to darken it up, we add more black. It's the same with all the other colors here. We mix around to see what we're going to get up and to see does it look nice. We keep a record of all the things, all the measurements that we put in to the paint, so we can replicate that again. Again, I'll just give you a quick look, lads. A real dark grey. If I want to lighten it up, I'll add some white. We can lighten that up. We do this on a big scale, lads. We have drills. We have big drills that we can pop in under where our drill fits down into. And we can mix tins of paint like this. As I say, we put it on a big scale with our big drill. If we want 30 litres, a bit of pouring around first, and then we can add it all into the bin and start mixing from there. That's about it from me, I'd say, guys. Again, a lot of the paint that people throw away, guys, is good. It's absolutely brilliant paint. Some of the paint you can just use straight out of the tin. Again, here we go back again. Nice light grey. Everybody loves a bit of grey in the house.
That's it. The science part of it is not that complicated. The difficult things are, building the relationships, ensuring your supply of paint, and that's it.
Thanks very much, Michael. We really appreciate that coming from Tait Enterprises. I'm just going to put up a quick small few slides relating to the project as well and say a couple of words, because as you mentioned, it was a collaborative project.
I think what you're looking at is maybe the offices in our community enterprise centre, where we have painted some offices in the paint that we've mixed here.
Yes, and I was lucky enough to go out and see that relatively recently, and it's a lovely job and a very modern color, if you like, in the grey. So this is the Revive paint scheme so this will be kind of the branding for the scheme going forward. We'll take it off your hands is the sign that the City and County Council's Mungra Recycling Centre. This is old paint, obviously. So this is what Sean was referring to there. And as he said, a lot of paint gets thrown away that maybe it still can be used. Doesn't even need to be remixed. And then this is our Mungret Recycling Centre, the paint taken in the roofed area there on the left of the screen. will be the signage for paint for Tate House. And as you can see, it's Tate House, the EPA, Local Authority Prevention Network, and ourselves and the council and Panda Green Star obviously are the contractors that manage the site. And obviously the general public will be a stakeholder there eventually as well. And eventually, this is what we hope that Tate Enterprise will be able to scale up to. Sean and his colleague, Michael and Sean and everybody there, is that they will actually be presenting a Revive paint, quality remix paint made in Limerick for sale. Um, but that's the aim. That's what we're working towards and scaling up to. And just remember to, you know, check before you buy paint, calculate how much you need, used water-based paints where possible, know the signage and know how to dispose of paint tins correctly. And basically, if they're water-based paint tins and they're empty, they can go in your general waste bin. Other than that, if they're not empty, please bring them to the likes of Mungret Recycling Centre where they can be used in a reuse scheme here, like the paint scheme.